All right. Before we move on, I did some research. I don't know why this is picking up my menu item function, and it's thinking it's bringing in the material UI core, which is all right with it. But I made a note here, mental note here, that it's pulling in, it's writing in. Just leave it there for a moment. If I need to, if I can have an error for this with it, what I'll probably end up doing is to comment that out with it. So if I did like a // that would just ignore the whole line. You can see the color change with it. But for now, let me just leave this in here. I did not, I don't know why it pulled in the menu item from the material -UI with it. That's very unusual to have that bringing in with it. Maybe I'm naming this as the same file name, same function that's inside of the material. UI is the user interface core with it. I don't know, but that's other than that, I don't know what harm it could do. We'll see with it. So so this is the menu item .js right here, and if you could save it for me, Control S saves it, and I'm gonna just close this out for the time being with it. The one that I would like for you to open next is the menu list, that was the menu item, and both of these they play with one another with it. So we're going to import in a few more some graphics in here. All right, so and if you can bear with me, instead of, I'm going to type one of these. We're going to bring in the graphics and all these things and assign it to a name with it as well. So the first one is going to be import pepperoni from. This is from my menu list. Here's my menu list here. I need to go to the parent directory, which is the helper. All right, so I have to do a .. to get to the parent directory, which is at the same level as my asset with it. Right, that's at the same level, asset and helper. So that's why the .. comes in, is to go to the parent directory, which is helpers with it, and then I do a / from there, and I come down to assets. All right. Assets right here, and then I come down to the graphic that's called pepperoni, this one right here. All right, so I do another / to come in. Oop, not that picture. That looks pretty good with it. Pepperoni .jpg. Okay, and the semicolon to the right. So what I will do is I need to bring in 1, 2, 3. 6 pictures in here before the 6 squares. All right, so to speed this up and with it, so give me a second. I'm going to actually pause and type this up, and then I'm going to show you the code with it, so it doesn't take up too long with it as well. So hold on. So I typed this up with it, and there are 6 types of pizza, and I'm pulling it in coming from where my menu list, going up one level. They're all .. That's why they have the .. syntax. Is go to the parent directory, go to the parent directory with it, come back down on the asset. Here's your asset, and go directly to your directories with it. So this is how you import in the picture. You assign it to a name right now with it. So these are the individual names for pineapple, expensive, so on, so on, so on with it. Okay, so that's how I just gave it a name with it. All right. Coming down to our first line of code is your menu item is going to read off of your menu list. All right, so it knows to pull from your menu. Let me have that code. Here's your menu function, is the menu item here. It's going to pull off. It's going to pass across is the image, name, and price. So in over here, you have to actually export some of these images coming out with it. So start with the word export, const, short for constant, menu list. All right, so this menu list is the name, and we're going to assign it to a square bracket. All right, I'll tell you what that means in a second here. A square bracket in this whole thing. And at the end of this, you put a semicolon. Inside of each one of this is going to be, I'm going to call this an array. Right? So let me explain what that means in a second with it. So inside of it, you're going to pass across name. What's the name for this thing? Well, we're going to call that a pepperoni. pizza, comma, image, pepperoni. Same name as on the top. Same name as this line right here, number 1. This pepperoni is this pepperoni right here. All right, it has to be the same spelling, comma, and then you're going to give it a price. How much does a pepperoni cost nowadays? $19, or I haven't ordered pizza for a long time. You don't have to put the dollar sign. All right. So we got to do 6 of this, and they have to be separated by a comma in this thing. So there are containers that you would actually do, and let me. So this is one of them, and if you notice the order, the sequence that we pass it through: name, image, price. I'm going to jump across over here. Name, image, price with it as well. All right, so it has to be in that particular order in the name, the image, that's actually the price that's being assigned right here, and all that's assigned to what's called the menu list. All right, the menu list then comes over here as in this particular function in the menu item over here. This becomes part of inside of what you pass across the image over here. This name, this image. And the image item is this one right here, is the class name. All right. So let me come over here, and I'm going to pause the screen for a second. I'm going to put in the other 5 arrays in there. So I need another. I'm going to copy line 9 to line 13, including the comma. Copy it. Hit enter. Paste it. And then I'm going to go and just change the content of this right here, right? So I'm going to pause the screen for a second. I'm going to do several of these and then go and come back to you in a second. Okay, so I went in and we added in the other 5 pizza that I did. All right, look at the syntax, folks. Look at the syntax with it. They all have the right curly bracket. All have a comma after it, right? And the name of it, how it's indented in, separated by commas in here with it as well. So take a second, just take a second with it, and let me back out, see if I can actually change the font for this thing to make it a little smaller. Is that better? Okay. So look at it. This is the menu list.js. Both of these files, the menu item.js reads it off from your export over here, is your menu list that's going to pass across the name, the image, and the price. Name and the image and the price. Okay. So if you want to pause your screen right now, pause the video and compare your screen with my screen with it. All right. All right. I'm going to save this. Command S saves it. That little white dot goes away. So you have the menu item. Here's your menu item that you are calling in from. You're going to pass, every time when you call the function menu item, it's going to return the menu item over here. All right, that's the class name. The class name is same as your function name. Your function name is the same as your file name. Just put that seed in the back of your head with it, because I'm going to go to call. There's a word that we have is. It's called a constructor. A constructor is something that you can actually set a value to a certain item when you pass across. So this particular item that I'm using right now with it, right? This is, I'm setting an image, I'm setting a name, I'm setting a price, meaning it's write and read with it. Get used to this, because later on you'll be writing to a memory and reading from a memory with it. This is all about memory management with it. It's very important how you actually read it and write it to as well. All right. So just bear with me. This is the simple syntax is the name of the function has to be the same name as the file. All right. And the class name is the same name, but you notice that this has a lowercase m, so it's a little different with it as well. So we're using is the menu item in here, and that's the class name. This is more for formatting in your CSS page. That's what you're doing with it. All right. So in here, here's what I want to point out to is this is the menu item.js, and then you come over to the menu list over here. This is what's being listed, and think of this as like your database. Think of this as files that you store into it, and how you pass across from it as well. Look, I misaligned this thing already. Look, let me bring everything to the right alignment in this thing so we get everything properly aligned here. It kind of bugs me when that happens. I don't like the way that looks. It's only a missing space, but how's that? So that way, pause your screen, make sure you have what I have on here. This is the menu list .js. I'm going to Control F saves this. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to stop the video right now.